Have you ever had to heal from a deep heartbreak? What did that process look like? And what was the biggest lesson that you learned?
I think I've had to heal deeply from every heartbreak I've had. There have not been many, out of three or four, I would say. The deepest heartbreak I had was in 2016 with with somebody I really felt connected at every level. But how did I heal is the question, right? That process was nothing fancy. That process was so chaotic, but I would not change a thing from it because it was deeply transformational for me. Um, in a way, it made me who I am in many ways, in terms of the nuances of the the kind of value system I have, the things that I want to stand for, the texture of my own self. Everything became very, very clear to me. And it was at the end of 7 years. And how did I heal? I healed with a lot of tools. I healed alone, alone by being completely true to myself, by being available fully to myself. And I could unpack a lot of parts of me, of the versions I have been before. And that gave me so much of an empowerment. And I became closer to the spiritual aspect of love so much that I have only gratitude for what happened.
Was there a time when you struggled with self love? How did you shift your mindset and start seeing yourself differently?
Yes, I've had concept of self-love very distant from my reality. Um, because when you're spiritual, you also have this tendency of being of use to somebody else more than you're of use to yourself. And culturally as well, I think, especially in India, in the households, in the good household, when your upbringing happens like this, you tend to put the other person more important on priority list than you yourself would be. So I featured very low on my priority list for a very long time in all my relationships. But it also taught me a very beautiful lesson that this is how you have to balance. Nothing can go completely to the extreme where you prioritize self love over love itself. Because self love is when you do not allow yourself to go from the level of respect you deserve in your own eyes and in the eyes of everyone else. But more than that, it would mean intolerance for the kind of requirements love necessitates to sustain a relationship. Because love as a field, I would say, is a place where you lose yourself. If you don't lose yourself, and if the other person doesn't lose himself, there is no union. We're too much in individuated states. And an individuation at best can serve two people living as an agreement. But would I call it love? Perhaps no.
How has your work as a healer influenced your own dating experience? Have you ever attracted the wrong type of relationships? How did you break the pattern?
Wow, it's a very loaded question. I think I, being a healer, has tremendously influenced the way I date. To begin with, I don't date for the sake of dating. I date always to marry. I'm not married, but I've always dated to marry. It just is that it hasn't converged into marriage, you know. With this kind of idea where you're extremely committed to the kind of relationship you enter into, you make yourself available to a phenomenon of love. You allow yourself to experience something so beautiful in life. And if whether it fails or succeeds and converges into a relationship, I think I have also lost that idea of an ideal conversion. If it happens when it happens, how it should happen is very welcome. But I would never look at love um, in such a pejorative sense that it's an ideal compatibility or what do you bring, what do I bring. These are for me transactional, and I'm not interested in transactional arrangement for something so soulful. And have I attracted a wrong type of relationship in my dating history? For a simple fact, how the society judges is if you're not married yet and if you're not living with that person, of course, that person was not right for you. So I've had 4 or 5 wrong people from that standard, from that angle. But would I call them wrong? No, they were right for me at that point of time. And what has helped me heal is a very deep shift in the perspective. And I'm not really sure that I'm not going to have more shifts in my perspective. This is an ongoing journey. But the state of my emotional comprehension, spiritual comprehension of relationships is it is a great opportunity for you to experience something exceptionally precious in life if you ever fall in love.
Can you share a moment when you felt insecure in love or relationships? How did you move through that and find confidence beyond it?
Yes, I have felt very insecure in some relationships. And I figured that one is that you feel insecure, and the other one is the other person makes you insecure. So, what I have seen is both have happened. But for a woman, instinctively, I think, I would speak for the feminine at the moment, is you have all of your insecurities come up when the person in the relationship does not make you feel calmer, feel secure. And I would also go to the extent of saying it's the same for the other sex as well, which is a woman can make a man insecure if she chooses to. So we are again like we come back to the same labels of insecurity, security. They are not so one dimensional in nature. So yes, I have experienced insecurity and how I got rid of them or how I keep getting rid of them from time to time is that I return to myself saying, am I really this? Is this my nature? And if I'm feeling like this, is it because I have to play a lesser role or I have to play a role for which I haven't signed up? And the moment I see that I am playing a role which I haven't signed up, but as a consequence of being in that kind of a dynamic, I choose to speak up. And if that upsets the relationship breaks. It's painful, it's chaotic, it's messy, but it's worth it.
Have you ignored red flags? What finally made you walk away from that situation? What advice would you give someone struggling with the same?
I like these nomenclatures, and at the same time, I don't like them. Because, see, the moment one says, have you ignored red flags? What does it make you? I mean, are you like what? Alarm system? Like body should say, oh, I spotted a red flag here and now I don't want to be with you. It's everybody has red flags. Okay. Everybody has red flags and everybody has green flags too. It depends how you address them. I think it's just a tendency of me to give a leeway for the other person to correct, amend, or show up differently. If I spot something which is either called a red flag or something which is not in congruence with my value system, and if they choose to do it again and again, I have come up with a solution for myself that I watch it for 3, 4 times, and after which I will have a hard talk. And that hard talk is not easy because you have to keep your heart in your mouth. The other person may not comply and will not comply if they are not having that change or transformation from within. You cannot control the other person's behavior towards something which is justified too. So, what I have done in my personal life is I have allowed myself the freedom, and I have allowed equal amount of freedom for the other person. You walk with me with this. You don't want to walk, it's painful, but you have the freedom to say no. So I can come back to myself. And I don't have to waste my time around being with the wrong person for the wrong reasons.
Was there a turning point where you realized you were attracting partners who were not aligned with you? What inner work did you do to change that?
All my life, I think I have done inner work. So, all my life till now, I am not yet married. So, obviously, I have not attracted a man who would be called my husband. And I don't know how long would it take for me to call somebody my husband, but I'm hopeful I will find him. I'm somewhere around the corner. And see, we are made to feel, I was also made to feel that I'm attracting a wrong partner. And if it was not for the practices I do, I think I would have also slipped into the same mix, the quagmire, ever churning, ever new, and ever chasing set of what should I do to attract somebody good? What should I do to deserve somebody better? It keeps you on the run. And it is not a mass teaching. And my personal experience is I'm different, you're different. We may hear the same things, but your interpretation is different. My interpretation is different. So I have refined my response to the things that happen to me rather than focusing on what happens to me. And that is my power.
Have you ever taken rejection personally? How did you separate your self worth from somebody else's opinion?
To be very honest, of course, rejection sounds personal, especially in a relationship if your partner in who you repose your faith, you confide something and they shake that ground, you will feel personally rejected and your self-worth is going to be affected. There is no rocket science in it. But what I have done differently is that I address it. Sometimes it's not very immediate, but I do address it. But after which, if the partner does not take accountability, I start simmering up my own concoction within me to see who I am, irrespective of the other person's idea. And in the long run, that question or that particular debate has to be closed. That particular repair has to happen. It may be delayed for a certain time, but it can't be delayed forever. It can't be put under the carpet.
Have you ever consciously manifested a relationship? If so, what did you do and how did it unfold?
So all my relationships have been like gift of the universe, gift of God. They've just happened to me and I have taken them very well. I do have certain requirements in my partner, which I really look out for. And I do work with my own subconscious self, my spiritual self to become that version of me to be able to have that person who I choose to have. And I have only bettered myself in the whole process. And I'm waiting.
How has your definition of love changed over the years? If you could go back and give your younger self advice about love, what would you say?
What a beautiful question. Yes, I at the risk of sounding all enlightened. I think I've always had this clarity in me that love is a phenomenon. It's not just marriage. It's not just coming together of two people saying, let's be a very comfortable room partners, or co-parents. So not a quixotic idea, but I have felt that this is something to do with soul level of revolution. And maybe I did go through that radar of thinking love is supposed to sound very only romantic and all perfect. But very soon, I realized in every relationship that nothing, no relationship is perfect. And it's not so much to do with the other person. Yes, that person has to take responsibility, but it is something to do with me. So actually, this is a gift for you. So, gift for myself. And this is how I view life and love. And for me, love is extremely sacred. It's a religion, it's a philosophy, it's um, it's the medicine, and it's the only way to be who you are in wholesomeness. So, we're going to return to our next episode of podcast, Healing with Mayuri, with some more nice questions, interesting, intriguing, and thought provoking questions. So, if this podcast resonated with you, if you would like, please like, share, and subscribe.